Welcome to Podbean Amplified, friends. Another Friday. I hope you've, enjoyed your week so far. Finally, Friday, heading into the weekend. And if you are not a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, I'm so sorry. Push through it. But today on Podbean Amplified, we're turning up the heat with the dynamic duo behind the Got Spice show. Spicy. Mr. Greg is a music artist and producer, also a marketing leader, and Kirti is a first-generation American, former Miss India USA TV host, and a creative powerhouse. Now together, they've built a bold lifestyle podcast and video talk show that dives into love, work, culture, and everything in between, always asking the question and alluding to the question, do you got spice? So here, obviously, we're going to ask, do they got the spice? Welcoming the vibrant couple and the co-creators of the Got Spice show, Greg and Kirti. Welcome.
Thank you
for having us. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your time. And I think it's so unique to find two people that we were talking a little bit before this, and you guys are just inspiring. Ericka said, what'd you call them?
A power couple.
Power couple. We are going to talk about a couple of things that they do, this dynamic duo. I mean, to be so involved and working together in a handful of things. I mean, it's a feat in itself. That's insane. So, as a co-hosting duo, I have to ask, how do you decide what makes an episode? Can you share how your dynamic and both different perspectives, shapes your creative process or the way your episodes flow?
So, I could maybe kick it off a little bit. I tend to take the lead a bit on the content strategy for our show. Mostly because I like to say I'm like a super nerd who is really reading a lot of news, a lot of articles across lifestyle, work, business, and whatnot. Greg's a voracious reader too, but more for just his personal consumption. I'm very concerted in terms of I'm reading it to figure out what do people actually want to talk about, hear about, what's trending, what's not trending. But then we typically look at our short list of themes or topics, and then we discuss basically together, well, these are things I personally am interested in, or I have experienced, or I think could be an area that I want to tap into and maybe even expose myself to. And we got to build our editorial calendar based off of fact first, and then we kind of tie it into personal experience, and then we start to think about, is this something we want to talk about on our own? Because Greg and I can, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on who you are, we could talk forever to each other about anything, or we can bring in a third party or a fourth party to enhance the dialogue and bring us a different perspective. And Greg, I'll let you add to
I guess the way I would really add to this is typically I'll be kind of setting up our environment. Kirti will say, hey, I think we should talk about this today. I'll say, okay, but I really didn't listen to her. And I just kind of sit down. Just start chatting about what I think is cool.
What the heck?
I mean, sometimes.
There's a dynamic that we love so much. That's how it works, man.
But no, we in terms of the content strategy, seriously, Kirti will come up with identify some ideas and seriously, she'll tell me about them, but I'm normally setting up and we'll sort of hear. But then when we just sit down, we just really start talking. And it's typically something that, is happening maybe in culture, in life, or maybe, something that, we're embarking upon. Could be, we're talking about a trip that we took, maybe with the kids, we're talking about culture, we're talking about food, and we'll start talking, and then it'll just continue to build from there. And then all of a sudden, before we know it, we're looking at each other, we're like, we have to end this episode. It's already been over an hour. And as Kirti said, we can just continue talking. And I think she and I just really blend well together, because we both have a lot of knowledge. We're both, I think, interesting people. We both love travel. We both love culture around the world. And so there's just always something that we can talk about.
Greg, I also think you're still getting to know me. 15 years later, you still don't know
I know.
me. So I'm trying to work on that in the show. The show is my help with that.
I understand that. I'm still trying to figure out what's her favorite ice cream, and essentially, what her favorite overarching
What's my favorite
food is.
food to eat?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
In fact, sometimes I even forget your name. It's kind of crazy.
Wow. Sometimes
Not enough
you like
time.
to call me. Well, no, Shae. So this is like my name is pronounced a ridiculous different ways depending on where a person may come from. But Greg's favorite to call me is someone at a big brand event that I was a keynote speaker at. I was about to go to stage, and he introduced me as karate.
Yeah.
And
So yeah. So meanwhile, we're all sitting. I mean, there's like a few hundred people here at the event. We're all like sitting at tables like 10 tops, and Kirti's like keynoting this event, and the MC gets up there, and he's like, "I would like to bring to the stage, Karate Serkant," because this was Kirti's, maiden name was Shrikant now, and now she's back to, or excuse me, her married name was Shrikant. Now she's back to her maiden name, and all of a sudden we're all looking around. Kirti's at the table too. We're all looking.
I'm like, who's karate?
And then we're looking like we think that's you.
And might I add, I was like the only Indian person in this whole room too. So I'm like, oh my God, they butchered my name completely. These people need to be cultured.
Yeah, exactly. So that was funny.
So, your tagline mentions balancing work, life, and fun without regrets. What led you both to define the show this way?
I'll let you take that one, Greg.
So, well, I think I'm going to kind of come back and even take a look at the name Spice, right? So the reason why we named the show Got Spice is when we were thinking about what should we name it. We're talking about, okay, we'll talk about life, we'll talk about love, talk about, balancing, we'll talk about work. And then we really kind of were thinking about what really makes life and what makes life exciting. It's spice. And we both love food as well. And when you think of spice, it's multicultural because it's all different colors. It's black, white, yellow, green. And then when you, put it into food, it's what makes it absolutely delectable, delicious, everything. And then when we were chatting about it, we're like, oh, well, it's spice, but why isn't it like, we have spice? Do you have spice? So then we kind of went with this kind of got spice sort of, kind of mantra behind what we were doing. And what we decided to do when really creating the show is we would be out at events, work events on a regular basis, and people would just see our dynamic, our conversations. They would learn from our trials and tribulations. We're a blended family. And for some reason, everyone always would tell us, you guys are so happy, and you're so happy together. How do you find happiness? And so we started thinking, okay, well, what makes life happy and exciting is you have this whole spicy element that you can bring into everything, whether it's food, whether it's into a relationship, whether it's into intimacy, all these different pieces. But then for us, it's always been about how do we find happiness? What do we do in life to actually be happy? And so when we started thinking about the show itself, we started bringing all these pieces together, and that's how we came up with the name, and that's how we came up with what we really wanted to talk about, which is really surfacing topics that are important to us, and then how do we bring those topics out to everyone so they themselves can find spice in their life, as well as really find true happiness in what it is that they're doing and how they're living their lives.
Well, and love, life, work is the three pillars are frankly how we met. So we met by accident at a work event, and life was already existing for us between our previous marriages. We had kids, we had our own kind of setup, and we also have to figure out then how do we actually get to happiness. And it took us some gusto, honestly, to realize I'm not happy in my situation. I've actually never been happy in my situation, and life threw this crazy man at me at a random breakfast table, who then we started just chatting, and I never even knew a chat could be so exciting. And then suddenly that led to frankly a friendship for a few years. I had the courage to walk away from my marriage because I did it for myself. He kind of was just the catalyst, I think, that made me realize that there's an opportunity to be happy. You don't have to live life dull. And so we feel that those were the connective tissue in terms of that brought us together. And that's kind of what we like to talk about is no matter what the topic is, it may be a problem statement, it may be a current trend, it may be about music, what have you. There's a gap or a challenge, there's always an opportunity. And that's just the lens that he and I were frankly brought together in. So
Mhm.
it's sort of like a natural for us to lean into there and be aligned with guests who also want to bring kind of value to that conversation.
Yeah. And when we were
Yeah.
also designed the show, it was almost for people we were thinking that would be maybe in the second act of their life, we'll just say, right? Because for us, we were already married. As mentioned, we both had children. We kind of came together in this blended family. And then when we started, releasing episodes of the show, when we were looking at our audience actually skewed younger. And that we
Yeah.
found out is that this younger audience was looking to us for their own advice in what they should expect in life growing up.
That's
And
amazing.
so it was really interesting to see like that younger audience was really our number one audience. And then the audience that we were originally going after was actually probably like number 3 on the list in terms of in
Okay.
terms of our viewership. Yeah.
I can see that because I think
hmm
it's a beautiful moment. Obviously, like the way you guys paint it. I'm a very visual learner, and so I see like this world very dull and almost boring, and then you add a little bit of spice, and that's when you guys
Yeah.
had your guys' moment and really centering that beautiful connection and that beautiful marriage, so to say, in lack of a
Mhm.
better term, but just
Yep.
knowing you guys for like what 20 minutes, you guys are so beautifully complementing each other in every step, every answer. It's refreshing. And so as somebody who has not had those trials and tribulations yet, then that is the element of spice that I need to look forward
Mhm.
to and or be prepared for in the way that some people
Mhm.
aren't. And I think that's really beautiful and inspiring and very cool. So spice up your life, people. Sometimes you haven't really gone through anything, truthfully,
Yeah.
until a little bit of spice happens. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Life is
necessarily have to be
boring.
negative.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
boring and
Yeah.
insipid without it. So,
Sip it. I love that word when you use it.
so we're transparent because our show the show is real. And so there's really nothing that we really, other than the kids, really kind of really steer away from, other than, as I mentioned, anything really vulgar or like inappropriate. And because I think that there's smarter, better ways that, we both feel this way, smarter, better ways that you can talk about those types of topics without having to be overly vulgar. So
I would
that's
say
that's kind
also
of how we.
another area is politics. I
Mm.
think there's enough news coverage out
Mhm,
there covering politics that
mhm,
I don't think we need to really be engaged in quote politics per se.
mhm,
But
Mm-hmm.
we will skim geopolitical issues at large as long
mhm,
as they organically tie into something we're talking about.
mhm,
But we really try to not be a news source.
mhm,
We are the whole idea of God Spice is you've come into our living room, you get a
mhm,
glass of tequila or a margarita, we're hanging out
mhm.
on the sofa, and we're just chatting about anything in life. Like
Yeah.
it really is meant to
Yeah.
be that. And I don't know
Mhm.
about you guys, but I don't sit there talking about politics like for hours at nauseum
Mm-mm.
with like my
Mm-mm.
friends, like
Yeah.
because that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll talk about, food. We'll talk about, interesting trips. We'll talk about music, concerts that we've gone to, artists we like, artists we dislike. And then, as Kirti was saying, even with tequila, because we are tequila fans. So we'll talk about tequila. We love champagne. So we have an episode that we kick off, me opening up a bottle of champagne, but telling people like exactly, teaching them, I should say, how to open them, different types of glasses that are available for champagne, but which are the best ones to use. All these different tips that we kind of give people as part of the that they'll get as from watching the show as well.
Well, we are going into our next segment, which will be the viral topic. I have a video to play, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it, just kind of telling our perspectives, how we would do it differently,
Mhm,
or if you wouldn't do it at all, type of thing.
mhm.
All right. Oh, is this the guy who took the ball from the kid?
Oh, yeah, it was the lady. Oh, ended up taking it. So this guy, basically, I usually have somebody talking about the video, but I figured we would talk about it. So this guy,
Sure.
he got this baseball, and it looks like just the cameras pick it up. He's giving it to his son. This lady,
Mhm.
they're calling they're calling her Philly Karen. She heads over and says, "That's my ball," and he's kind of startled, obviously, in the video. They
Mhm.
go through a verbal whatever it is, and he ends up giving her the ball.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about watching that clip as parents?
Oh, I'm appalled, but there are a lot of idiots out there that have no sense and no level of maturity. It's just a stupid ball from a game. So clearly that person's very obsessed with it, but a child would want it more. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, you appalled with her, or you appalled with the father?
I'm appalled with her. She came and took it from a kid.
Yeah. Well, was she there? I missed at the beginning though. Was she there with like her grandson or like a kid there? And was it in her pant, or it was just? So it's kind of hard to see. So it was fair game for him to take that. It's not like he took it away from her. It was just like a few seats away from him, and that's what she was.
It looked like the ball landed in between them, and he grabbed it for his kid.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
I would give it to the kid. Like that's just
I would give it to the kid as well. Yeah. In that particular case, I would totally give it to the kid. I think it's odd that she happened to
she really went out of her way.
Like demanding the ball. It's just a ball.
She's like bullying the kid
just a
for
ball.
the ball. Like that poor kid's face. He was just like, oh my God, I don't want people to fight over a ball.
So, it turns out that it was actually his birthday.
His birthday too?
It was his birthday. His dad took him to a game for his birthday. The ball went out there. He saw the opportunity. It was on the ground, by the way, when he picked it up. Gave it to his son, and the lady came over. But thank God people saw it in the stands, and a representative from the team actually gave him a little goodie bag with a ball in it, and then they found out it was his birthday. He got invited back to the dugout, got a baseball bat signed, so all is well. But
I think I actually heard about this on the news.
Yes, but the kicker is, so Blowout Cards, a company, so a major trading card retailer, posted on X and said, I will pay $5,000 to the Phillies fan who took the home run ball from that 10-year-old boy, and they're going to buy it from her. But they said the kicker is you have to write "I'm sorry" on the ball, and we're going to give it to the kid.
Wow.
If you were Home Run Karen or Philly Karen, would you give the ball back for that $5,000?
I mean,
and write "I'm sorry" on the ball?
I just think this whole situation is pathetic. Why are they even offering money to her?
I was gonna say, I don't even think I'd be in that position in the first place.
I'm questioning that. Like that's that's
also
appalling. She's gonna make money off of being a bully.
Yeah, right? I'd say in her shoes, in like the right thing to do probably if she was to take that offer. One is take the $5K, donate it to a charity instead of writing "I'm sorry" on the ball, because then you're actually ruining the ball itself. Right. Maybe, an "I'm sorry" note saying so it doesn't have to be on the ball, but like something to the kid. No?
I don't agree with you, because you know why?
Why?
That type of character, she's horrible. She's not going to donate anything to anyone. She stole a ball from a boy.
I'm not saying that's what she's going to do. I'm just saying that's what she should do.
I think this whole situation is shit. Sorry.
Yes.
What happened to your favorite word, bonkers?
But like, come on. Like, why is she being a bully is being rewarded with money, and all she has to say is "I'm sorry," which will then ruin the value of the ball to your point.
But if you look at society, bullies are always rewarded with money, it seems like.
Yep.
Greg, you also have this theory that only evil people win. So that doesn't mean good people have to like propel evil people. I don't believe in that.
I think they were just trying to find her. Honestly, if I were her, I would dye my hair. I would hole up in my house. If I wore glasses, I wear contacts for a month. If I wore contacts, I wear glasses for a month.
She better reverse bleach that bleached head of hair.
I will send that ball into that company. I will not address it. You will not know who I am. You will not know my name, because I promise you, the moment I send that ball in, they will release my name. They will release my Facebook images, and I will have so much hate.
100%.
Yep,
I'm pretty sure that with face detection technology nowadays, they've already figured out who she is. I mean, they could also find out like who was sitting in that seat and where were the tickets sold. There's a lot of ways to find this out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the cameras have scanned that area anyway previously, right? So they're going to more than likely already have a front profile of her that I'm sure they already have on video somewhere at the stadium.
It's a lot of
video. Especially when the creepy cam comes by, right? And it does the flying through the stadium.
Yeah.
Those cookie
Yeah.
cams, I call them.
Well, Blowout Cards, the company, we hope that your check bounces when you send it to her. We hope that it's from a fake bank account and or an account that takes money out of her bank. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly.
No,
Or,
I don't.
you
I
know,
don't condone fraud. I'm so sorry.
yeah, no, not at all. But I'm just wondering, so it's Blowout Cards? So is Blowout Cards going to do the same thing for the CEO? What was that from astrology.com?
Yeah.
Oh.
We thought you were maybe going to show us that video because that's.
Oh,
We
yeah.
actually did cover that.
We did.
We already
Of course
covered
you
it.
did.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we were on it like hotcakes. That was undeniably the talk
That
of
was-
my summer.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of psychiatrists that I've talked to, and my family is predominantly also like doctors, were like, the human psyche is, if you just had stood still and not reacted like that, no one would have known.
Of course. Yeah.
There was
You just
a chance that it would have been just
Yeah.
correct, because it's
They look
not
like average Bostonian or Massachusetts people. They don't look like celebrities. Like you wouldn't have
Correct.
known. They look like
It's not-
normal people.
correct. It's not on TV. It's not a live production. People are just in the audience seeing.
Right.
Play
Yeah.
it cool. Just let the camera go by you, and you're all good. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
thank you
thank
so
you for
much
having us.
for
Thank
dedicating
you.
your time. I mean, we had the studio for a short amount of time, but we could talk all day. We literally talk all day.
Yeah. Vice versa. Yes. Same here. Same here.
But we will keep a lookout, please, for social media tags. I know you have a person that helps you out with that, but we will be uploading some things as well, tagging you guys. If you guys would love to collaborate, we're open to that as
Yeah.
well.
No, let's collaborate. We'd love to
Happy to.
collaborate.
Yes, amazing. And you can always find them on the Got Spice Pod. Thank you so much, Greg, Kirti. It's
Thank you
been
so
a
much.
pleasure. And honestly, you guys are killing it. Like Ericka said, power couple, powerhouse, doing anything and everything because YOLO. And they got
Oh.
spice.
Yeah.
Yes. Gotta have spice.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Fantastic.
much.
Thank you for
Have
having
a great
us.
day.
You too. Bye.
What a great interview, truthfully. Ericka, you feeling a little bit spicy after that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
She said definitely.
It's a lot.
Move
lot
on now.
To take in, it's a lot of fun moments that we've had to share the viral topic, their opinions about it. I'm surprised with the Kirti having to say the profanity, even though they did
She's
mention.
spicy. I
She was.
loved it. I loved it. I'm like, more spice.
Right,
No, I'm
yeah.
kidding. But it is beautiful, and I love that we can not only interview people but also showcase what their personality is like. I think last season we were kind of missing that element. And so just a piece of advice for you out there. Always have a check-in with yourself or your team, whoever's working on the podcast, because there could be some things that are working. There could be some things that are not working. And there's also things that I promise you are not seeing that other people are seeing, and vice versa. Please have check-ins and always make sure that you are being intentional with your podcast. I say that all the time, but when you have intention, there is purpose, consistency, there's growth, and I promise you will see it. But like I said, I love the fact that we were able to look at last season, come back this season, and just give it a little spice, man. I love it so much. I mean, it just seems to blend and flow better, when we have the guests interacting with us, and it's more personable. I feel like we're very, hello, nice to meet you. Tell me about your podcasting. Okay, bye-bye. Go follow them. And now we're like talking for hours.
Right. It didn't seem like the time just flies by,
It did fly by. Alrighty, friends, going into our software highlight, we like to call this Podbean success. Why, you ask? Because we love getting questions from our users. Obviously, we hate the fact that you guys can't navigate our software or figure some things out, but we are here to help you. In this customer success, we have chosen a question. And Ericka, what's the question this week?
How do I make sure my podcast shows up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the major apps if I'm hosting with Podbean?
That is a great question. And honestly, a lot of people do not know that first and foremost, we are a hosting site, but we also distribute, monetize. Anything you can think of with podcasting, we pretty much do. We also we have AI. You know, we have editing capabilities, we have live capabilities, so many things. But your question, Ericka, it's honestly one of the most common hurdles for new podcasters, I would say. The good news is that Podbean automatically takes care of some distribution aspects, but there are a few key steps that you need to do depending on which platform you distribute to. When you create your podcast in Podbean, you get your unique RSS feed. If you do not know what an RSS feed, that's literally the lifeline, the heartbeat of your podcast. It's everything and everything. This feed obviously helps with directories like Apple, Spotify, and Amazon to use and pull all of your episodes. So inside Podbean, there is a dedicated podcast distribution little thing in the left-hand corner of your interface. So go ahead and check it out on podbean.com. And then you can select different types of directories that you want to submit your RSS feed to. Some are super easy, and some have a couple of other steps. So just make sure that you're double checking.
For Apple Podcasts, all you have to do is to set up an Apple ID and submit your feed through Apple Podcast Connect. It's a one-time setup, and once Apple approves it, every new episode you publish on Podbean will automatically flow into Apple Podcasts without lifting your finger. Podbean also supports iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and dozens more, so your show can live anywhere your audience listens. Here's another pro tip. So if after you submit your podcast to directories, create a simple listen now and page direct to the link to Apple, Spotify, and Podbean. That way you can share one link in your social bios and newsletters instead of overwhelming people with options. Make it easier for your audience to find you.
To put it in perspective, a lot of ways that you can promote it would be you're integrating and, you know, you've made it to different directories. Well, how are people or your listeners going to know? Or maybe in social media, how are they going to know that you have reached these other destinations? So maybe you have a link tree. You put all those links into one, and, you know, we're Podbean users, but maybe my next door neighbor is an Apple, and then my other neighbor is a Spotify user. Well, they follow me on Instagram, so I can upload, you know, a little social media clip and say, hey, I am now live on all these platforms. You don't have to have the Podbean app necessarily to listen to Podbean hosted podcasts. There we go. But preferred, obviously, this is Podbean Amplified. We would love to have you use our app. Super easy, very integratable. Make sure that you're double checking the ways to get on to individual directories, because there are a few simple steps. Double check your emails. Make sure you got all the bells and whistles. It doesn't take too long. It shouldn't take too long. And if it does, go to Podbean Academy. We got you. We'll teach you. And it's almost like holding our hand as you're doing it. Podcasting made easy. Brought to you by Podbean. But it's been real.
It's been fun.
It's been real fun. And you know what? We will see you at the end of the month for a live webinar. The last Thursday of the month. But this has been Podbean Amplified. We are so happy to be fully kicked off into season 2. We're doing the dang thing. We're going through the viral trends and giving you our opinions. And for Podbean success, please send us emails, send us DMs, and let us know some issues you've been having, or maybe you want to know a little bit more about an area of podcasting. We are down to do it. We are here for you. And we are also on Podbean Academy, podbean.com, YouTube, all social media platforms, helping you out with podcasting 101 and optimizing your show. And until next time.